but what do you hear in those 911 calls? Joining me now, HLN law enforcement analyst Mike Brooks, also with me, body language expert Susan Constantine. Susan, let me start with you. Let's start with the tone of the neighborhood watch captain. Does anything jump out at you? What do you hear in the way he says what he says?
Well, let's just do kind of a compare and contrast here. When you're listening to him talk to the police officer, there's this very flat, kind of monotone, very laid back. There's no fear. There's nothing there that even shows that he's fearful in his voice. There's no shrilling or where the voice would go high up at the end of the note or at the end of the sentence. But listen, now listen to the other callers calling in. That's fear, that's surprise, that's concern. You don't hear any of that in Zimmerman's voice. He's just kind of laying back, just kind of watching it all take place. And Susan, that's what I'm hearing as I listen to him, you know. And this one's not going to get away. And that's the one point where it seems he gets a little bit excited, right? Yes, and you could see, you can almost hear it, the adrenaline in his voice at that point. It's kind of like the Superman complex. I'm not going to let this guy get away. I'm going to catch him, and he's watching him, and he's told, do not leave the car. So then the police officer the 911 dispatcher could hear him in the background, and you could hear his voice. You could hear his breathing was very high and rapid. It was up here, which is telling you he's running. Okay, and what he's doing is he's pursuing. That's what's happening. It's not that the boy was pursuing him. He was pursuing the boy. And that's what I heard in his voice. And then you tie that into his words. They? Who's they? Some group? Who's they? So we're dealing with opinion and bias here. Those screams for help, Susan Constantine, the family says that is Trayvon Martin. George Zimmerman allegedly has told police that that is him screaming for help. What do you hear? I don't hear it because his voice is lower. You know, when you're listening to his voice at the very beginning, you could hear that he has more of a deep resonation in his voice. He doesn't have that high pitch. You can hear the high pitch of a younger person screaming out, help, help, help. And then what does he do? The kid's screaming out, then you hear the shots. Okay, it's not the shots, then the screaming, which is now turned around. Who's the one that's screaming help, and who's the one shooting the gun? And what I think is that Zimmerman was the one that shot the gun, and that poor kid was the one screaming for help. And you can hear it in his voice because you can hear that fear and panic because of the shrill and the highness and the pitch in his voice.